You walk into the party, and you're certain that everyone clocked you arriving alone. Certain they noticed you came in a little late, that they registered your outfit, your face, the slightly awkward way you stood in the doorway, scanning for someone you knew. You can feel it, the weight of all those eyes, all those quiet judgments, the whole room taking note of you. They noticed almost none of it. Most of them didn't even see you come in, and the few who did have already forgotten. Because every single person in that room was too busy doing the exact same thing you were, walking in convinced that everyone was watching them. This is the psychology of feeling judged, the deep, constant, exhausting conviction that you are the object of everyone else's attention and evaluation, when the truth is that people are barely thinking about you at all. And here's the strange shape of it. You are not wrong that someone in the room is being intensely scrutinized, harshly judged, watched in unforgiving detail. You're just wrong about who's doing it. The only person watching you that closely is you. By the end of this, you're going to understand exactly why your brain is so utterly convinced you're on display. Why you feel your every flaw and feeling broadcasting to the room. And here's the part that can genuinely set you free. Why the spotlight you feel burning down on you is one you are holding yourself, pointed at your own face, in a room where everyone else is busy holding their own. Once you really see that, a surprising amount of social fear simply loses its grip. So let's start with the simplest, strangest fact about being you. You have never, not for 1 second, experienced anything from outside your own head. Think about it. Every moment of your entire life has been filmed from a single camera, the one behind your eyes. You are in every scene. You are the main character of every story you've ever lived, the constant center of your own endless movie. There has never been a frame of your existence in which you were not present and central. You are, from your own point of view, the most important person in the universe, simply because you're the only one you've ever been on the inside of. And this does something to your sense of how visible you are. Because you experience yourself with total, overwhelming vividness, your own thoughts, your own face, your own feelings, blazing in high definition at the center of everything. Your brain naturally assumes that you appear to others with the same intensity, that they see you the way you see you, that you're as central to their experience as you are to your own. The deep reason this happens is that you literally cannot subtract yourself from the picture. To know how little a stranger is thinking about you, you'd have to set aside everything you know and feel about yourself and see the moment purely through their eyes. And you can't, fully, ever. You're stuck inside your own head, with your own self turned up to full volume, and you have to guess at everyone else's view by starting from your own and adjusting. But the adjustment is never enough. You start from, I am intensely aware of myself right now, and you nudge it a little toward, maybe they're slightly less aware of me, when the real answer is, they are barely aware of you at all. You can't get there because you can never escape your own front row seat to yourself. Your own vividness is an anchor you can't lift, and it drags every estimate of how others see you wildly toward overimportance. But you're not even close. Because here is the thing your brain finds almost impossible to truly grasp. Every other person is also the star of their own movie. Every single one of them is the constant center of their own universe, filming everything from behind their own eyes, just as consumed with themselves as you are with you. And in their movie, you are not the main character. You're not even a supporting one. At most, you're a background extra, someone who wandered through one scene of a film that is entirely about them. So you walk into the room feeling like the lead, certain the audience is watching, when the truth is, there is no audience. There are only other leads in other movies, each one watching themselves, each one convinced that they are the one on display. This has a name. Psychologists call it the spotlight effect, the tendency to overestimate how much other people notice and remember about you. and it's been measured again and again. People consistently, dramatically overestimate how visible their appearance, their mistakes, their nervousness, their everything is to others. You think the stain on your shirt, the thing you said wrong, the bad hair day, is glowing like a beacon. In reality, most people don't notice, and the ones who do forget within minutes. The spotlight you feel is real, but it only exists inside your own head, and you're the only one who can see it. Here's a way to feel how true this is from the other side. Think about a stranger you passed on the street yesterday. Picture them. You can't, can you? They're gone. You have no memory of their face, their clothes, whether they stumbled or had something in their teeth or wore something odd. They passed through one frame of your movie and vanished. Because your movie is about you, and they were just scenery. Now flip it around. To that stranger, you were the scenery. You passed through one frame of their movie, a film entirely about them, and you vanished from it just as completely, just as instantly. That total forgetting, the one you just experienced about them, is exactly what they did with you. We are all, constantly, the unremembered extras in millions of movies we'll never see, starring people who forgot us before we'd finished walking past. Now sit with what that means about the moment you've been cringing over. The embarrassing thing you did in front of strangers got filed by them in the same place you filed that person on the street. Which is to say, nowhere. It's gone. It was gone almost before it happened. But here's where it gets stranger. Because it's not just your appearance and your mistakes that you overestimate the visibility of. It's your inner world too. There's a related glitch psychologists call the illusion of transparency. It's the feeling that your internal states are leaking out, obvious to everyone, written all over your face, when they're actually almost invisible. You're nervous giving a presentation, and you're certain everyone can see you shaking, can hear the tremor in your voice, can tell you're about to fall apart. But the audience usually sees a person who looks basically fine. You feel a wave of anxiety as a roaring, full-body experience, and you assume it's broadcasting outward at the same volume. But on the outside, it barely shows. Your inner storm is a private one. You're listening to it through headphones cranked to maximum, and assuming everyone else can hear it too. They can't. They mostly see a calm surface, while you drown in the noise underneath. This is why you can feel like you're visibly bombing a conversation while the other person walks away thinking it went perfectly well. Why you're sure your crush can tell you like them when they have no idea. Why you think your boredom, your irritation, your nervousness, your lie is plastered across your face, when really the gap between what you feel inside and what shows outside is enormous. You live on the inside at full intensity. Everyone else only gets the outside, at a fraction of the volume. You can test this against your own experience right now. Think of a time you were secretly furious, or heartbroken, or terrified, and had to function anyway. Get through the meeting, the dinner, the day. It felt impossible, like surely everyone could see you were falling apart inside. And then someone said, "Later, you seemed totally fine. I had no idea." Remember that? The chasm between the storm you felt and the calm they saw is the illusion of transparency, caught red-handed. Or flip it the other way. Think of someone you spent a whole evening with who seemed perfectly happy, perfectly composed, and who told you weeks later they'd been in agony the entire time. You couldn't tell at all. That's the proof. If their inner world was invisible to you, yours is just as invisible to them. The window you think everyone can see through is actually a mirror. They see their own reflection in it. They have no view of what's behind your eyes. Now, let's put the two halves together, because here's the real engine of the whole thing. And it's almost funny once you see it. Why is no one paying as much attention to you as you fear? Not because they're kind or distracted or polite. It's for a much simpler reason. They can't pay that much attention to you because they are completely consumed with the fear that everyone is paying attention to them. Every person in that room is running the exact same anxious program you are. Each one walked in worried about their own outfit, their own awkwardness, their own performance. Each one is starring in their own spotlight effect, certain that they are the one under scrutiny. Which leaves no one, literally no one, with the spare attention to scrutinize you the way you imagine. The reason the crowd isn't judging you is that the crowd is too busy being afraid that you're judging them. Everyone is so trapped in their own self-consciousness that they have almost nothing left over to spend on yours. The audience you're terrified of is actually a room full of other terrified performers, every one of them facing their own imaginary audience, none of them watching the show you think you're putting on. Picture the party again, but this time see the whole room honestly. Over there, someone is convinced their laugh sounded weird and is replaying it. By the window, someone is sure they're underdressed and wishing they'd worn something else. Near the food, someone is panicking that they've been standing alone too long and everyone's noticing. And you, in the doorway, are certain all of them are watching you. But not one of them is. Each is the trembling star of their own private spotlight, and the spotlights don't overlap. They each shine straight down on the one person holding them. It's a room full of people, all performing for an audience that is also performing. A hall of mirrors where everyone is the watched and no one is the watcher. The terrifying jury you imagined is just a crowd of fellow defendants, each one as sure as you are that they're the one on trial. And underneath all of this is the same ancient machinery we keep running into. Why does your brain bother running this exhausting simulation of how you appear to others in the first place? Because, once again, being judged by the group used to be a matter of life and death. For your ancestors, social standing was survival. If the group decided you were incompetent, or strange, or shameful, you could be cast out, and being cast out meant death. So your brain evolved to obsessively monitor how you might be coming across, to run a constant, vigilant simulation of yourself as seen through everyone else's eyes, scanning for any sign that your status was slipping. That simulation kept your ancestors alive. The problem is, it's miscalibrated for the modern world. It assumes maximum scrutiny at all times, because in the ancestral environment, underestimating the group's judgment was far more dangerous than overestimating it. So you walk through life with the dial stuck on, everyone is watching, everyone is judging, when the actual setting should be, almost no one is paying attention. Let me show you how this runs your life, because once you see it, you'll catch it everywhere. Take the gym. So many people avoid it or dread it because they're certain everyone there is watching them, judging their form, their body, their inexperience. But walk into any gym and look around. Everyone is staring at themselves in the mirror, focused on their own workout, their own body, their own reps. Nobody is watching you because everybody is watching themselves. The judgment you're terrified of is a ghost. Take public speaking, the thing people fear more than almost anything. And what is the fear exactly? It's the spotlight effect at maximum volume. A real, literal spotlight, a real audience, and the overwhelming certainty that every flaw is being magnified and judged. But audiences are mostly forgiving, distracted, and self-absorbed, registering far less of your nervousness than you feel, forgetting your stumbles almost immediately, thinking as much about their own to-do lists as about you. The shake in your hands that feels seismic to you is usually invisible from the third row. The pause that felt like an eternity lasted 2 seconds. The word you fumbled, that you're still wincing about, left the audience's memory before you'd finished your next sentence. You experienced the talk as a high-stakes trial. They experienced it as a few minutes of someone talking, most of which they'll forget by tomorrow. Take the small mistake at work. You send an email with a typo or say something slightly off in a meeting, And you spend the rest of the day cringing, certain everyone noticed. Everyone's talking about it. Your reputation is damaged. They didn't notice. They forgot by the next email. They have their own typos and their own cringes to lie awake over. Take posting online. You share something, and then you're flooded with the certainty that everyone is scrutinizing it, judging it, finding it stupid. But most people scroll past in half a second, barely registering it, on their way to worrying about their own posts. The audience of judges you imagine is, again, a room full of people thinking only about themselves. Take dating, where this one quietly wrecks people. You're on a date, hyper-aware of every word you say, certain that the small, awkward thing you blurted out has tanked the whole thing, that they're silently cataloging your flaws. Meanwhile, they're sitting across from you doing the exact same thing, barely registering your stumble because they're too busy worrying about their own, replaying their own clumsy line, sure that they're the one being judged. Two people, both convinced they're underperforming for a critical audience, when the audience is just one other nervous person who likes them more than they realize and noticed a fraction of what they fear. So many promising connections die not from any real incompatibility, but from two spotlight effects pointed at each other, each person too lost in self-scrutiny to see how well it was actually going. Every one of these is the same illusion. A vivid, central you, assuming everyone sees you with the same intensity you see yourself. In a world where everyone is too busy being their own vivid central self to notice yours. Which brings us to the twist, and it cuts two ways. The audience you're so afraid of does not exist. The spotlight you feel is one you're holding yourself, aimed at your own face, in a room where every other person is holding their own, aimed at theirs. There is no panel of judges watching your life and scoring it. There are only billions of people, each starring in their own movie, each convinced they're the one being watched, none of them with the spare attention to watch you the way you fear. And here's the part that cuts both ways, because honesty demands it. This is a little bit lonely. It means that even in your best moments, your proudest, your most dressed up, your most impressive, no one is watching as closely as you'd hoped either. The triumph you wanted the room to see mostly went unseen. We are all less observed than we wish, in both directions. That's the bittersweet half. But the other half is enormous, and it's freedom. Pure, expansive freedom. Because if no one is watching you as harshly as you fear, if your mistakes are forgotten in minutes, your flaws mostly invisible, your inner panic unbroadcast, then you are free. Vastly more free than you've been living. Free to take the risk, to wear the thing, to raise your hand, ask the question, walk into the room alone, dance badly, try the thing you might fail at, be seen trying. The judgment you've been organizing your life around is mostly imaginary. The cage was never locked. You've been holding still for an audience that left long ago, that was never really there, that was always just you. Think about how much of your life has been quietly shaped by this phantom audience. The clothes you didn't wear because of what people might think. The thing you didn't say in the meeting because someone might judge it. The dance you sat out. The class you didn't take. The question you swallowed. The version of yourself you kept hidden. All of it, edited down, made smaller, held back, to avoid the disapproval of people who were never actually watching. That's the real cost of the spotlight effect. Not the moments of cringe. The whole bolder, freer, fuller life you didn't live because you were so sure you were being judged. Imagine getting even a fraction of that freedom back. Imagine making choices based on what you actually want, instead of on the imagined reactions of a crowd that isn't paying attention. That's not a small thing. That's a different way of living. So what do you actually do with this? The first thing is simply to remember it, in the moment of fear. When you feel the spotlight burning down on you, walking into the room, making the mistake, putting yourself out there, you can catch it and tell yourself the truth. Everyone here is the star of their own movie. No one is watching me the way I think. This spotlight is mine. and I can put it down. Just remembering that everyone else is exactly as self-conscious as you are takes a startling amount of the heat off. You're not the lone exposed performer. You're one of a room full of people, all feeling exactly the same way. The second thing is to act on the freedom, not just feel it. Knowledge that no one is watching is only useful if you use it. So use it. Do the slightly brave thing you've been avoiding because of imagined judgment. Take the chance you've been talking yourself out of. The cost of looking foolish is almost always far lower than it feels, because the audience that would remember your foolishness barely exists. People who internalize this become noticeably bolder, freer, more willing to live. Not because they stopped caring about others, but because they finally saw how little others were watching. And the third thing is the most beautiful, and the most counterintuitive. Turn the spotlight outward. The cure for self-consciousness is not to think better of yourself. It's to stop thinking about yourself at all, and to genuinely pay attention to the people around you instead. When you walk into a room focused on making others feel comfortable, noticed, at ease, two things happen at once. Your own self-consciousness evaporates because you can't spotlight yourself and attend to others at the same time. And people are drawn to you because you've given them the rarest gift there is, real attention, in a world where everyone else is lost in their own movie. The person who steps out of their own spotlight to shine it on others becomes, quietly, the most magnetic person in the room. You free yourself and you connect with others in the same single motion. It's worth being clear about one thing, though, so this lands as truth and not just comfort. This isn't a promise that you are never noticed and never judged. Sometimes people do notice. Sometimes they do judge. The point is not that judgment never happens. It's that it happens far less often, far less harshly, and for far less time than your miscalibrated alarm insists. A judgment that does land is almost always smaller and shorter-lived than the version your brain rehearses for hours. So you're not trading a paranoid fantasy for a naive one. You're recalibrating a dial that's been stuck on maximum your whole life, down to something much closer to the truth, which is that you are mostly unobserved, mostly forgiven, and mostly forgotten in the best possible way. That's not bleak. That's the most liberating fact about being human. Because here is the truth underneath all of it. You have spent your life as the anxious star of a movie you thought everyone was watching. They weren't. They were starring in their own. And the moment you truly understand that, really feel it, not just know it, you get to stop performing. You get to put the spotlight down. You get to walk into the room not as someone being judged, but as one more human being, no more watched and no more exposed than anyone else. Free at last to actually live, instead of endlessly rehearsing how you look while living. The audience was always imaginary. The freedom is completely real. And it changes how you see everyone else, too. Once you understand that every person around you is the anxious star of their own unwatched movie, the whole social world softens. The intimidating stranger, the confident-seeming coworker, the person you were sure was judging you, they're all carrying the same secret fear that they're the one on display. We are all walking around equally exposed and equally unseen, each convinced we're the exception. There's a deep kindness available in that knowledge. You can be the person who steps out of their own spotlight long enough to make someone else feel a little less watched, a little more at ease. In a room full of people performing for no one, that's a quietly powerful thing to be. Now here's something to carry into the next one. You'd think that once you stop performing for an audience that isn't watching, you'd finally be free to throw yourself into the things you care about most. But there's a strange trap waiting there, and it catches almost everyone. The things that matter to you most, the dream project, the meaningful work, the thing you most want to do well, are often the exact things you avoid hardest, put off longest, can't seem to start. It feels backwards. You procrastinate least on what you care about least, and most on what you care about most. Why you sabotage the things you love most is the next thing we need to talk about. For now, here's a quick experiment that proves this whole thing in about 10 seconds. Think of the single most embarrassing thing you did in public this month. Got it? Now, try to remember one embarrassing thing a stranger did near you this month. Anything. Someone who tripped, fumbled, said something awkward in a line near you. You almost certainly can't think of a single one. Exactly. That blank you're drawing right now is precisely how much the strangers around you remember about your most embarrassing moment. Nothing. So tell me, what were you so sure everyone noticed and judged that you now realize they almost certainly forgot the very same day?